How to write clean and readable code in C. Have you ever looked at someone else's code and struggled to understand what's going on? Writing clean and readable code is just as important as making it function correctly. Good naming conventions not only make your code easier to read, but also help you and others maintain it in the long run. Here are some essential tips to improve the clarity of your code. Choosing the right identifiers name. The key to readable code starts with meaningful variable names. Instead of using vague names like X or temp, opt for something descriptive like total amount or username. When naming variables with multiple words, you can use either camelCase, for example, total amount, username, or a snake case, for example, total amount, total underscore amount, user underscore name. Just be consistent throughout your code. Variables should always start with a letter or an underscore, as starting with a number isn't allowed. Additionally, while short names are preferable, they should still be clear. Num items is better choice than a number of items in cart. Lastly, avoid reserved keywords like int, for, or if as variable names since they already have a defined purpose in C. How do you choose the best names for macros in C? Macros are powerful feature in C, but they should be used with care to maintain readability. A common convention is to write macro names in uppercase letters, for example, max underscore size or pi. When combining multiple words in a macro, use underscores for better readability. For example, max underscore buffer underscore size, pi underscore value. Another important rule is to avoid using parameters in macro names. Instead of defining max size, use max underscore size for clarity. Additionally, make sure your macros have unique name to prevent conflicts. Generic names like size or buffer may clash with existing definitions, so be specific to avoid unexpected errors in your program. Generic naming guidelines for clean code. Beyond variables and macros, maintaining consistency in your naming style is crucial. Whether you prefer camelCase or a snake case, stick with one convention throughout your projects. Choose names that are easy to read and write, keeping them concise yet descriptive. Overly long names can make your code harder to scan. Finally, consider maintainability. Clear and standardized names make it easier for both you and others to understand and update the code in the future. By following these best practices, you'll not only write better code, but also create a foundation for more scalable and efficient software development. Best practices for naming variables and macros instead. In this exercise, which runs in the Eclipse IDE, we explore best practices for naming variables and macros in C programming. Among developers, it's common to follow one of two widely accepted naming styles. camelCase, the name starts with a lowercase letter and each subsequent word begins with an uppercase letter. A snake case. Words are separated using an underscore with all letters in lowercase. By convention, macro names are always written in uppercase letters to distinguish them from variables. Are you naming your macros wrong? Learn the best practices in C. To illustrate these concepts, we define a macro called print, which spans multiple lines. When creating multi-line macros, it's best practice to include them in a do-while zero block. Additionally, each line except the last should end with a semicolon and a backslash to indicate that the macro continues onto the next line. The print macro accepts 4 arguments and prints them on a separate lines in the output. We also define another macro pi underscore value which stores the value 3.14. As mentioned earlier, macro names are always written in uppercase. Confused by messy code names? Stay with us. In this exercise, we define 4 variables, 2 8-bit variables, count up following the camelCase convention, and count underscore up using a snake case, as well as 2 32-bit variables, count down written in camelCase and count underscore down following a snake case. To maintain readability and consistency, it's recommended to stick to a single naming style throughout a program rather than mixing both. How the program actually works. The print macro prints all 4 variables to the console, while the pi underscore value macro is displayed using the printf function. And good news, the practice code will be available on GitHub. To help with practice, the project files have been uploaded to GitHub. You can find the repository link in the description. How does your code perform calculations and make decisions? Our next video dives into the operators in the C programming language, the essential building blocks for arithmetic, logical, and bitwise operations. Understanding these operators is key to writing efficient and optimized code, especially in low-level programming and microcontroller application. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next session.